Rappers often break the law for quick cash while on the come-up in the music industry, with many of them getting caught by the feds and arrested. Here's rappers that snitched their ways out. Starting with Boston Richey. Richey was involved in a car theft in December 2013. The incident started when a woman reported her Honda was stolen. An undercover cop later spotted the car in a nearby parking lot. The cop kept a lookout and monitored the car for an hour until he witnessed Legarius Robinson and Boston Richey quickly hop into the car and drive away. Law enforcement lost sight of the vehicle, but not long after they would see it again with Boston Richey, Robinson, and another man inside, but they still couldn't catch them. After a couple more hours, the three men were seen walking down the street away from the stolen car that was now parked at the end of the street. He instantly knew they were the three suspects, so he called for backup. Boston Richey's group realized the cop was onto them, as all three of them ran off in separate directions. Richey was the only one that got caught, resulting in him almost instantly agreeing to answer questions they had, while also admitting to driving the stolen vehicle. His two friends never made a statement or cooperated with the police, but after detectives investigated the area, they would find the stolen car keys and a stolen firearm in a garbage can nearby. During his questioning, Richey immediately confessed he had stolen the vehicle with the other two guys, but only knew one of their names. Telling police the friend's name was George, Richey would state that George was the one that told him about the Honda having the keys left inside, and was the one who planned to jack the vehicle. So Boston Richey and his two guys decided to take the car around 3 in the morning, where they'd drive around the city until 7 a.m. Richey would clearly state in question that the stolen firearm didn't belong to him, and that the other two he was with knew that the car was stolen the whole time. With Richey admitting to it and verifying his friends knew, they were all charged with grand theft of a motor vehicle. With the news of Richey snitching coming out, he responded on Instagram with a picture of $250,000, saying everyone was just hating on him and that he never told. After he tried flexing his money, everybody saw right through it and knew he was capping.
Boston goes on Instagram, he posts $250,000, basically saying, I will be mad too. I'm getting money, y'all hating.
That would have been the last thing I would have done. To be honest, I would have just fell back.
Only weeks later, Future announced Boston Richey wasn't on tour with him anymore. Fans speculated it was due to the snitching, but Boston Richey claimed this on Instagram. You think I'm getting taken off the tour? I'm locked in getting this music for this album. Moving on to O-Block member, Big Mike was another snitch as he tried telling on King Von. In 2014, Von attended a house party where a group of guys, including Malcolm Stuckey, tried to intimidate him. Since Von was alone, he decided to leave and recruit backup from Big Mike. When Von and Mike returned to the party, they saw Malcolm hanging out by the porch and instantly used their firearms toward him. Unfortunately, Malcolm lost his life, and some of his friends were injured while trying to escape. But Von and Mike were arrested and charged with 1 count of passing and 2 counts of attempted passing. Mike and Von were set to play out the case over the coming years, but things quickly turned bad for King Von as Mike had agreed to testify that Von did the act that resulted in Malcolm's passing. But at the last minute before making his official statement in court, Mike changed his mind and refused to take the stand. During the trial, no other witnesses came forward to testify against King Von, meaning prosecutors had no evidence to show in the courtroom, and Von was acquitted of all his charges. Due to Big Mike's refusal to implicate Von during the trial, he was sentenced to 28 years in prison. If Mike didn't agree to testify in the first place, he would have been released, just like Von. But that isn't the only rapper to come out of Chicago that tried to snitch, as moving on to Chicago native FBG Budda, who had a close relationship with another Chicago rapper named Lil J. They were both in the same street team together and carried out drills with each other. However, one night, while trying to do a deal with a dealer known as J-Day Kid, an argument broke out. So Jay, Budda, and Trub left. Rather than finding someone new to buy from, they went to Trub's girlfriend's house and picked up some firearms. They then went back to J-Day Kid's place, where they got into an altercation resulting in Trub's passing and J-Day Kid's injury. J-Day Kid recovered from the incident and was acquitted of his charges due to acting out of self-defense. Lil J and Budda, on the other hand, were charged with the passing for their involvement in the altercation, despite the fact they weren't the ones that did the act to J-Day Kid. The police determined that Trub was only involved in the situation because of Lil J and Budda. During their case, both J and Budda were supposed to be keeping quiet, but it wasn't long before Lil J leaked photos of Budda signing paperwork in the interrogation room. Budda denied it, making the two drift apart. Lil J was acquitted of Trub's passing, but received a 14-year sentence for conspiring to go after J-Day Kid. After 7 years behind bars, Lil J released a song titled First Day Clout, where he accused Butta of snitching on him in the case, claiming he gave the statement and pleaded guilty in court. With him saying this in his song, Shorty snitched and moved out of town. Here go that black and white. Gave a statement and plea agreements. That man told, I had to fight for my life. After getting out, Lil J interviewed with Say Cheese TV, explaining that Butta also made Lil J's mom sentenced to 3 years behind bars.
How long did your mom do?
She took 3 years.
And what was her charge?
Intimidation of witness.
So your mom did 3 years.
Yeah.
Before she was sentenced to 3, did she do the
She
full 3?
She did 1 and some change. They ain't want that paperwork to get out, man. It's too late. All our cases over now. I'm finna put all that out, bro.
With Jay revealing all that new information, Butta hopped on an interview with Cam Capone News to share his side.
But in real life, he told on himself. Bro, told on himself. Don't make it seem like I told on you, because if I told on you, then he wouldn't be home right now.
He also spoke on the paperwork Lil J leaked.
There was some paperwork that popped up on the internet. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that paperwork, that fake, man. Bro, look that up.
FBG Butta wasn't the only one who snitched on a friend, though, as Florida rapper Spot'em Gott'em also got called out for snitching. Back in May of 2018, police were patrolling roads in response to a surge of crime in a Jacksonville neighborhood. During their patrol, officers spotted a white Honda that matched the description of a stolen vehicle parked in someone's yard. Officers contacted the owners of the home, who confirmed they had Y and R Mookie living there. With the owners being oblivious to any illegal activity, they allowed the officers to proceed with a search of the residence. With police knocking at the door, both Spot'em and Mookie exited the home during the officer's search. The police discovered 2 firearms and illegal substances in the bathroom, as well as more narcotics in the living rooms. When questioned, Mookie remained silent, but Spot'em provided a statement to the police, claiming that he had been sleeping on the couch when the officers arrived and that Mookie began pacing around his room. Spot'em continued saying that Mookie had been carrying items, with a t-shirt covering them before the police arrived and were the only ones that went in the bathroom. Spot'em claimed ownership of some extendeds, which he had stolen from a nearby store, but denied knowledge of the other items. As a result, Mookie was arrested and charged with firearm possession and possession of items with the intent to sell, while Spot'em was not charged due to his cooperation with the police. Even despite Spot'em's statement, Mookie won the case because the state never filed charges in the time, and he got off free. However, his statement would have been used against Mookie if the case had gone to trial. After the paperwork of the case got leaked, rappers started talking about the situation.
They say Spot'em got him on rap.
And get what this man said. I'm finna show y'all exactly what this man said. This man say his mama told. Like, what? You gonna blame it on your mama?
Following it up with an interview from Say Cheese TV, Spot'em said it was one of Mookie's boys who had leaked the paperwork.
Who leaked the statement?
I don't know. Like, it was one of my little homeboys I with Moogie. He was on some mad little hate. I don't know. I don't even know what it was, but like.
But that wasn't the only rapper that felt that way, because the king of the streets, Lil Durk, sent back Spot'em Gott'em's $100,000 he paid for a feature, refusing the $100K because he didn't want to work with a snitch. This next rapper, despite being young and not knowing the street code, still got a lot of hate for his snitching. In 2015, Pop Hunna was a witness in a case involving the passing of another man named Duval DeShields. According to the paperwork, Pop cooperated fully with the police and revealed it all to them, which led to Demetrius Brown being sentenced to 40 years in prison. After Brown was sentenced and the paperwork leaked, Pop went on Instagram claiming that it was fake. But later, he interviewed DJ Academics, who stated that he was just young and shouldn't be held accountable for what he did.
I was a kid, bro. Ain't no kid supposed to go through no like that, bro. I seen some shit that I wasn't supposed to see. And then, bro, I gotta live with that.
However, other rappers did not agree. When Lil Uzi found out about his snitching, he tweeted, "Need my verse back? That song, real street, stick to the code." Lil TJ also spoke out saying, "I did a bit at 14. No excuse this bad works." But who could ever forget our next rapper that snitched, as 6IX9INE is known for being one of the biggest snitches in the rap game. In 2018, 6IX9INE and 10 other members of his street team were arrested with charges of federal racketeering and firearm charges. Shortly after being detained, mind, 6ix9ine pleaded guilty to the 9 charges they had against him and faced a mandatory sentence of 47 years. However, as we know, documents were revealed just a couple of months later, showing that 6ix9ine provided legal testimony in the investigation against other members of the team. Due to 6ix9ine snitching, his 47 years were dropped down to a light 2-year sentence, while all the other members are still serving their time behind bars. The rap world went crazy hearing what Tekashi did. One of the most notable is Lil Durk rapping this in. Laugh now, cry later. Can you not play that Lil Boy in the club? Cause we do not listen to rats. But 6ix9ine isn't the only rapper who has snitched on their team. As Gunna just snitched in the YSL team case, almost everyone was hoping for both Young Thug and Gunna to be released from the ongoing YSL case, but not in the way that Gunna did. It turns out Gunna entered into a plea deal where he told Young Thug in court. Gunna and his team immediately released statements trying to deny that he had snitched or worked with the police, but a leaked video showed otherwise.
You were present when law enforcement officers stopped a vehicle in which you were present along with Jeffrey Williams, wherein hydrocarbons and a firearm were recovered. These items did not belong to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Fans and artists were angered by this, and Lil Durk even dissed Gunna in a leaked snippet where he referenced their collab song, What Happened to Virgil, by saying in a new snippet, what happened to Virgil, he probably gon' tell. Even NBA YoungBoy jumped onto his podcast to reveal his thoughts.
Don't call me asking me about what I think about the situation or do I think snitching. I honestly don't give not one. I ain't got nothing to do with that.
Click this video to see how rappers reacted to Gunna after his plea deal.